Luncheon News for today, Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026. Coming up in the news, Grenada represents CARICOM at Global Labour Talks, and NNP's new chairman calls for political washout and national renewal. Regionally, maxi-taxi operators dissatisfied after talks with Transport and Civil Aviation Minister in Trinidad and Tobago. Internationally, hundreds protest planned U.S. Ebola quarantine facility in Kenya. And in sports, Grenada hosts Super League regional volleyball friendlies. The first segment comes to you compliments Bryden and Miners. Back, I am Diedra Sealey with the details. Grenada is participating in the 114th session of the International Labour Conference in Geneva, Switzerland. Labour Commissioner Sparkle Grenade-Courtney is leading Grenada's delegation, which also includes employers and workers' representatives. As CARICOM's representative on the Standard-Setting Committee on Decent Work in the Platform Economy, Grenade-Courtney called for balanced labour standards that protect workers while supporting innovation. She highlighted the importance of stronger social protection, clear employment classifications, greater transparency in algorithmic management, and effective dispute resolution systems. The government says Grenada's participation for the third consecutive year reflects its ongoing commitment to the advancement of decent work and social justice at both the regional and international levels. In his first address as chairman of the new National Party, Dr. Adrian Joseph delivered a spirited call for national renewal, directly criticizing the current administration's record.
The diagnosis, my friends, is pretty clear. Grenada is suffering from a case of political indigestion. Too many big promises and not enough meat on the bones. The stomach of this nation is bloated with mismanagement. Kind of makes sense, right? Because our Prime Minister seems to have earned a doctorate in mismanagement. Brothers and sisters, every good Grenadian grandmother knows what comes next. When the system is blocked up, the system needs a washout. A good, clean Grenadian washout. We're going to flush out the parasites, those who have been feeding off the people instead of feeding the people. We're going to flush out self-interest that has been crowding out the service. We're going to return this country to a healthy political directorate where leaders work for the citizens and not for themselves. Friends, we don't need new symptoms, we need a new prescription.
Joseph praised the outgoing party leader, Dr. Keith Mitchell, for his legacy, particularly for expanding education opportunities and modernizing the country's infrastructure. He also commended the new political leader, Emlyn Pear, noting her historic achievement as the first woman to lead the NNP. Dr. Joseph told supporters that the party's focus would be on substance over slogans, promising a surgical-grade plan for restoring competent governance.
We have been preparing, friends. We have been studying. We have been listening. We have been planning. We have been organizing constituency by constituency. We have been creating policy. We have been recruiting candidates. We have been doing the unglamorous work, the deliberate work of a party that intends to govern. We are not coming back to government with slogans. we are coming back with a plan.
The new chairman outlined a vision for Grenada where young people have jobs, farmers and small businesses thrive, and the elderly are honored. Finally, in local news, against the backdrop of 2 apparent suicides over the weekend, the Ministry of Mental Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs continues to advance its mental health policy, suicide prevention policy, and mental health draft bill. On Monday, the ministry completed a final stakeholder consultation under the theme Shaping a Stronger Mental Health Framework for Grenada. The consultation was supported by Pan-American Health Organization consultants Dr. Sumitra Pathare and Jasmine Kala from India's Center for Mental Health and Law Policy. Meanwhile, members of the public are invited to a consultation on the mental health policy, suicide prevention policy, and action plan on Wednesday, June 3rd from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Deluxe Cinema in Grenville. While the policies have long been in the works, the consultation comes as national attention remains focused on mental health. The ministry says the consultation process is designed to ensure that Grenada's mental health policies are practical, equitable, and responsive to the needs of the population. That concludes our local news. Stay with us for our second segment, Compliments Fortune Foods Limited.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong, one nation, one network.
News, Trinidad and Tobago maxi taxi operators are dissatisfied after talks with Transport and Civil Aviation Minister. More details in this OCM report.
Maxi taxi operators meet with Transport and Civil Aviation Minister Eliza Crur following the first day of a planned 3-day strike in Trinidad and Tobago. However, after almost 5 hours of talk yesterday, the operators emerged dissatisfied. Vice President of the Route 2 Maxi Taxi Association, Parsana Rampasad, said their membership had agreed to a second day of rest and reflection today. It was unclear if the other associations would follow suit. The meeting, which began around 2 p.m., ended without an immediate resolution. President of the Association of Maxi Taxis in Trinidad and Tobago, Ian Hewitt, said a final decision on the way forward would be made only after discussions with members. Up to last evening, he said he acknowledged the disruption caused by the strike and apologized to commuters. He said he did not want the children to go through another day like yesterday. Mr. Hewitt said the minister indicated that the speed limit proposal had already been reviewed and referred to the chief traffic engineer for further consideration. However, association representatives expressed frustration that several concerns were described as falling outside the minister's remit, particularly matters relating to infrastructure. They argued that ministries should work collectively through cabinet to address long-standing concerns affecting the sector. And the police service comes to the rescue of stranded members of the traveling public at City Gate, transporting them using its buses. Police Commissioner Alistair Guevero was at City Gate yesterday. He told reporters some 50 police buses will be used to assist persons to get home.
Specialized support Mr. Brian Steele, and we mobilize all the police buses that are readily available to assist in transporting persons to their home. So at this point in time, we are in the process of delivering on that promise to the traveling. At this point 5, what I would say is most assuredly, our first target will be vulnerable school children and the elderly and getting them safely home. So that's the reason why we chose this time at 2:30 when school was just over, was to get them out of the town as fast as possible. We have a second trip coming once there's another sofa plant. You monitor that you go along and you put whatever is in place as it comes along. This is a very unique situation.
The top cop said leaving persons out on the street at night is most dangerous as he fears for their safety.
The most important message I would like public Trinidad and Tobago to hear from the GBN is that we stand ready to assist in any way possible. And by this gesture here today, I'd just like to show that we are not just about enforcement of the law, but also assisting the public in any way that we can. So before embarking on this, we did what we call a risk assessment. And that risk assessment told us that in leaving these people here tonight, being vulnerable and stranded far outweighs what we are doing in terms of positivity. So we are taking them out of harm's way onto their home rather than leaving them here to be stranded tonight.
From 2 p.m. yesterday, the Ministry of Transport and Civil Aviation opened the priority bus route to light motor vehicles until 11:59 p.m. today. The United Nations says armed attacks in one of the departments of Haiti have triggered new displacements and put additional pressure on already very vulnerable communities in the CARICOM country. UN spokesman Stephanie Dujarric told a news conference yesterday the Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs made reference to the armed attacks. The official said the International Organization for Migration has already revealed that more than 1,100 people were displaced following the violence on May 26th in the commune of Petit Rivière de Babonnet. Mr. Dujarric said those who have sought refuge with host families within the city of Gonaives further straining resources available in these communities. He said many of those who fled the violence last week have been displaced repeatedly. He said they need shelter, food and water, but they also need health care. They need psychosocial support, protection services, including survivors of gender-based violence.
That's it for regional news. That segment came to you compliments Fortune Foods Limited. Stay with us for international news and sports.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong, one nation, one network.
To international news, hundreds of people took to the streets of Nanyuki in central Kenya to protest moves by the United States to set up an Ebola quarantine facility for Americans at a military base. On Tuesday, a Kenyan court blocked the proposed facility for another 3 weeks. Outraged Kenyans are accusing the U.S. of offloading the health risk of caring for patients. More details in this Reuters report.
Hundreds of people marched through the streets of Nanyuki, Kenya on Monday, burning tires and blocking roads. They were protesting U.S. plans to set up an Ebola quarantine facility at a nearby military base to accommodate Americans exposed to the virus. The unrest began just days after the High Court ordered a temporary halt to the plan. This followed a legal challenge warning that the facility could pose a risk to public health. Anger was directed at elected officials, whom residents say have failed to address their concerns about the facility.
All elected leaders.
One resident said no elected officials showed up for the protest and voiced fears about the dangers Ebola could bring. Security forces were deployed to control the situation. Red Cross personnel were also present at the scene, assisting an injured protester during the unrest. Kenya's government has defended the plan to build the facility, saying it would help strengthen the country's emergency response systems. Many residents remain suspicious, citing increased military activity at the base as a sign that preparations are continuing despite the court order.
Also in international news, Mexico City police hurled tear gas at protesting teachers to keep them from reaching the historic square where the Fan Fest for the 2026 World Cup is under construction. The teachers are demanding a pay increase from the government. More in this France 24 report.
Teachers taking to the streets in Mexico City had a clear message. They're calling for a boycott of the FIFA World Cup as they demand better pay and benefits from the government. A 9% pay rise offered by Claudia Sheinbaum's administration is far from the 100% increase they're asking for.
10 days before the opening match, we're blowing the opening whistle, and we will roll the ball, not in a metaphorical sense, but because the demands of teachers and of the people are present.
Police hurled tear gas to prevent demonstrators from entering Zocalo Plaza, the square which will play host to fans. Clashes began when some teachers broke through barriers placed by the police. Mexico is set to welcome around 5 million tourists for the World Cup, which it's co-hosting with Canada and the United States. In Los Angeles, fans are facing a different challenge when they arrive: the heavy traffic congestion at LAX airport, which sees around 95,000 vehicles pass through daily. It can be frustrating for locals and visitors alike due to complex pickup and drop-off arrangements.
I'm still lost. So, and I'm American, and I live, so this is really annoying,
The first time it was really hell for me. I stood there for hours. Nobody was ready to tell me what to do. It was really tough for me.
An automated people mover train to ferry passengers, dubbed Skylink, was scheduled to open in 2023, but the $3.5 billion project remains in the testing phase and will not be ready in time for World Cup fans. Instead, the city will put in place 300 buses to ferry fans to the games, including from the airport.
In sports, the Super League Regional Volleyball Friendly serves off this week in Grenada, bringing together top teams from Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago. Visiting clubs Big CEPOS and Trinidad and Tobago Police Club will compete against Grenada's leading local clubs and national teams in 4 days of high-level competition. The event gets underway at 1 p.m. on June 4th at the Library Indoor Facility. The Grenada Volleyball Association says the tournament provides an opportunity to strengthen regional partnerships, promote sports development, and elevate the standard of volleyball across the Caribbean. Now for a recap of today's headlines. Grenada represents CARICOM at Global Labour Talks, and NNP's new chairman calls for political washout and national renewal. Regionally, maxi-taxi operators dissatisfied after talks with Transport and Civil Aviation Minister in Trinidad. Internationally, hundreds protest planned U.S. Ebola quarantine facility in Kenya. And in sports, Grenada hosts Super League Regional Volleyball Friendlies. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Diedra Sealey, thanking you for joining us.